Alright, put 2 stars by these first 2 blanks because those are 2 vocab words you'll need to know. The first one is a statistic. A statistic is a measure that describes characteristic of a sample. And the next one's going to be a perimeter. A perimeter is a measure that describes a characteristic of a population. So statistic, sample, think perimeter, population. They both start with the same letter. And which one's bigger, a sample or a population? Good. What is a sample compared to a population, just in your own words? Good, like a small portion of a population. That's what a sample is, right? Alright, and we went over how to identify sample and population on Monday. We're going to do the same thing for example 1, but then I'm going to introduce a sample statistic, a population perimeter, what that looks like. Alright, Lyric, if you'll read example 1 for me.
On movie rental business selects a random sample of 50 orders in one day. The median number of rentals per order is calculated.
Alright, so what would be the sample in this one? Anybody? Yeah, the 50 orders selected, right? So 50 orders. What would be the population then? All of them. Good. All the orders. And if you want to check yourself, say, okay, is the sample a piece of the population? Is 50 orders a part of all orders? Yeah. Excuse me. Alright, statistic and perimeter is talking about measures of central tendency. Do y'all know what those are? There's 3 of them. Mean, median, and mode. Those are called measures of central tendency. So which one are we talking about in this problem? Median. Do y'all know what median is? Middle. Good. So the sample statistic is going to be talking about this sample, and it would be the mean, or excuse me, the median, sorry. Median of the 50 orders. Median of the 50 orders. And then the parameter, the population parameter, is going to be talking about the population, so it'll be the median of all the orders. Does that make sense? Okay. No, Paige? Which part?
How do you know it's the median?
Oh, because it says it in the original. If this were to say the mode, we would say the mode of all 50 orders. Or the mean, we'd say the mean of all 50 orders. It just depends on what it's talking about in the original. Any other questions? All right, Tim, read example 2 for me.
A stratified random sample of 2 trees of each threshold is selected from all trees at the nursery. The mean height of trees is the sample that is found.
Okay, so Paige, what do you think the sample would be in this one? Good. 2 trees of, good. 2 trees of each species. All right, John, what do you think would be the population then?
All of the trees at the nursery.
Good. All trees at the nursery. Any questions about that part? So from here, the statistic and parameter will be real easy. What measure of central tendency are we trying to look at?
Mean.
Good. So the sample statistic would be the mean, and what mean are we talking about? The mean height. Good. It's right after it. The mean height of which, of what? Of 2 trees. Good. Of each species. The 2 trees of each species came from the sample. The mean height came from what are we trying to look at. Alright, the population parameter, what is it going to start out by saying? Mean height of, good, all trees in the nursery. Does that make more sense now? Yes.
Where are you getting how do you know that for sample?
The sample statistic. So the mean height, we first look at what's the measure of central tendency. So that came from here. So mean height, and then the 2 trees of each species came from the sample. 2 trees of each species. And so for the population parameter, we're still looking at mean height, and then it's of, and then all trees because of the population. Does that answer your question? Okay. You're doing number 3 on your own. I'm going to call on 4 people, 1 for each line. If you get it correct, you can get a piece of candy. If you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll be happy to help you.
And that if you were at college, if you had to apply for a scholarship, you get paid to apply for a scholarship. So it's not from one university, it's from one. So if you all have that mean what? Between 40 scholarships out of what? All what? Yes, all scholarships.
All right, let's review this together. Does anybody want to attempt the sample? All right, Kennedy, go ahead.
40 scholarships.
Good. And I'm just going to put 40 applicants. Here you go. Any questions about that? All right, next. Melandria, what'd you get? Correct. All the applicants. Any questions about that one? Because I know, here you go. My first period class, they were confused. They said, why is it not the university? Can you guys explain why it wouldn't be the whole university? Go ahead, Tim.
Because you don't have to apply for that scholarship when you apply for it.
Good. Just because you're at that college doesn't mean you necessarily applied for that scholarship. So it's just applicants.
Is applicants at university?
Yeah, that's fine. As long as the word applicants are in there, it's good. All right, sample statistic, Camille.
Mean GPA
Perfect. Mean GPA of who?
for 40 applicants.
Perfect. Any questions about that? All right, Crystal, you want to do the last one? Go ahead.
Mean GPA all scholarship applicants.
Perfect.
Does it mean of every applicant's GPA? Is that good?
Yep, that's good. There you go.
So
All right. Any questions about those? Everybody feels comfortable with them? Okay, you'll have one of those on your quiz on Friday. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is the mean absolute deviation. Mean absolute deviation. Yes, sorry. And you can abbreviate this MAD. And the reason we played the card game yesterday is so y'all could get used to finding the mean absolute deviation. Did y'all like that card game? Mm-hmm. Yes. We might play it later on this week, depending on. No, Jesus, why? Alright, the mean absolute deviation is the average of the absolute values of the differences between the mean and each value in the data set. And what is it used for? If you are collecting statistics, it's used to judge how well the mean or the average represents the data. So if I was going to find the MAD of y'all's notes quiz scores from yesterday, the reason I would do that is to see how well the average represents everybody in the class. Okay? No, that's old. Sorry. Okay, so the first step to finding the MAD is just to find the mean. And the mean, how would you find that? How do you find the average of? Yeah, and divide by, yes. After we find the mean of each one, we're going to find the absolute value of the difference between each value data and the mean. Now let me go back to absolute value. What is the absolute value of 3? 3. What's the absolute value of negative 1? 1. Good. Anything you put in absolute value bars, it comes out what? Positive. What's the absolute value? 0? Good. Absolute value negative 4? Good. So everybody knows what absolute value is. And then we're going to add them all together once we find all the absolute values and divide by however many numbers there are. Alright, so flip it over. And Alyssa, if you'll read example 1 for me.
Rescue agency register number and charge adopted each one.
You don't have to read the numbers.
Find and interpret the mean absolute deviation.
Alright, so step 1, put S1. We're finding the mean. So we're going to add together all of those numbers and divide by what? Good. So I'm going to write it out. You don't have to write it out. But go ahead and find it on your calculator. And you can say it out loud whenever you get it. And I want you to round to the nearest tenth. Or never mind, you don't have to round. What is it?
16.
Good. So we're going to write the mean like this. X with a bar over it, that means average is 16.
Wait, so you just add them up and
Yes, that's the first step. That's step 1. Just to find the average. Any questions about how to find the average?
wait, would you add all them all blocks?
Yes. Alright, so once we have found the mean, we are going to find the difference between the mean and each number in here. Okay, and this is how we set it up. Put step 2. We're going to do 14. That's the first number. Put it in absolute value bars, minus 16. So again, I got the 14 from here. 16 is from the average. Put plus 18 minus 16. I got the 18 from here. 16 from there. Plus what? 12 minus 16 plus 17 minus 16 plus 15 minus 16 and 20 minus 16. I'm running out of room, sorry. And we're going to put all of that over 6 because that's how many numbers we have. You do not have to write this out on the test or the quiz, but we're going to write it out for the first example just so nobody's confused. It's not. Alright, write step 3. Circle it. Alright, what is 14 minus 16? Negative 2, but the absolute value of it is 2. Good. Plus 2. Good. Plus 4. Plus. Good. I'll give y'all time to copy that down. The 2 came from 14 minus 16 is negative 2, but the absolute value is positive 2. And then this one gave us 2, this one gave us 4, 1, 1, and 4. And then step 4 is just to calculate it. And I want you to round it to the nearest tenth. So go ahead and find it on your own, and then y'all can say the answer out loud whenever you get it. Good. What now? Were y'all able to get 2.3? Make sure you can get it on your own. No. Do you know what those squiggly lines mean?
It's close roundabout.
Approximately, that's what it means. A roundabout, yep, same thing. Okay, and that's the MAD, that's how you find it. Any questions about how to calculate it? And now I'm going to tell you what it means, and you don't have to know this, but just for your information. This means that on average, the monthly number of pets adopted each month is about 2.3 pets away from the mean of 16 pets. So if I went to this veterinarian place or rescue agency and I said, how many pets are adopted each month? You could say anywhere from 14, because that's 2 less than 16, and to 18, because that's 2 more than 16. Anywhere from 14 to 18 pets each month. And another thing this tells you, if I'm looking at grades or something, anything 3 or less for MAD means it's consistent. It's not all over the place. Like y'all's test scores wouldn't go from 10 out of 100 to 100 out of 100. That would be way spread out, right? Way inconsistent. So the lower this is, the more consistent it makes your data, the more accurate. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, any questions before we move on to the next one? All right, go ahead and start step 1, just finding the average. You don't have to write it out. Just tell me what it is after you calculate it. Good. That depends on just how many numbers there are. So you would divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anybody need more time figuring that up? Alright, so I'm going to write step 2 out. I would suggest you would too, but you don't have to. The first absolute value is going to be what? 14 minus 17.5 plus 0 minus 17.5 plus 20 minus 17.5 plus 24 minus 17.5 minus 17 minus 17.5 and 30. And you would divide all of that by what? 6. Whenever you figure out what that is, you can go ahead and say it out loud. Or let's figure out these first. Crystal, what's going to be 14 minus 17.5? Good. Jesus, what's going to be 0 minus 17.5? Okay. Jaylene, what's going to be 20 minus 17.5? Good. Victoria, what's going to be 24 minus 17.5? Good. John, what's going to be 17 minus 17.5? Kennedy, what's going to be 30 minus 17.5? Good. And we're going to divide all of that by what? 6. Go ahead and calculate the final answer, then you can say it out loud. You can round it to the nearest hundredth whenever you get it. Anybody? Round to the nearest hundredth. Good. So notice how this is a lot bigger than 30. This means that, let me just read the original first. A statistician reviewed the number of points his high school team gave up at their home games this season. Find and interpret the mean absolute deviation. Do you think this team is very consistent? No, they're all over the place. I'm guessing this is either basketball or football they're talking about. Probably football. But this means that their team is not reliable. They're just all over the place. One day they'll have a really good game and let them score 0. The next day they'll let them score 30. So they need more consistency. Anything above 3 is inconsistent. Alright, do we need to do one more together? Yes? No? No? Okay, well then what you're going to do for the rest of class, and it's up to you how soon you pack up. You're going to do these 3 on your own. You can work in groups of 2 if you would like, But you cannot pack up until you've got all three of these correct. Once you get them all three correct, you can pack up. Let me know if you need help. And all of them, I want you to round the final answer to the nearest hundred. Everybody understand? Nearest hundred. Yeah, you can work in groups of two if you would like, or you can work on your own. You can listen to music. But as soon as you finish all three, raise your hand and I'll check them. You can pack up when you finish.